Jeffrey Smith here. I'm an artist, and this is practically my backyard here in Stuart, Florida. The Loxa-Lucie project is something very dear to my heart, protecting this mini Everglades ecosystem. I'm on the banks of the South Fork of the St. Lucie River. I'm here with Matt Sexton of the Conservation Fund, and we'll also be hearing from Greg Braun of the Martin County Guardians.
Hi, I'm Matt Sexton with the Conservation Fund. I'm Senior Vice President for Conservation in the Southeast region. The Conservation Fund is a national land and water conservation organization. We've been working across the country since 1985 to protect over 8 million acres of land. In Florida, we've helped protect over 160,000 acres of land. And one of the first projects I was able to work on since I moved here in the early 1990s was the Loxa-Lucie project, when we were planning out the potential areas that we'd like to see protected over the next 20 or 30 years. I'm really excited to be working on protecting that land, the acquisition side, in this latest iteration of the project. The Conservation Fund is playing two roles in this project. One, we're working with the landowners in the project area to try and negotiate purchases of properties that are in the project area. But we're also serving as the fundraising entity where tax-deductible contributions to the project effort are coming to the Conservation Fund. One of the exciting things about this area is it is right at the connection of two ecotones, the subtropical ecotone and the temperate ecotone, which creates a biodiversity hotspot in this project area because it's the last unprotected area in over 100 miles stretching from Port St. Lucie to south of Miami, east of 95. Creates a really great opportunity and possibly the last opportunity to protect this important resource. In 2020, we've raised over $1.3 million towards our $2.5 million goal for purchasing the first phase of this project. We're looking for the rest of the money to complete this phase. We're hopeful that by raising private funds to protect the first phase property, we'll be able to engage with the state, the Water Management District, and the county to protect the remaining properties connecting the Atlantic Ridge Preserve and Jonathan Dickinson State Park.
So I'm Greg Braun. I'm a professional ecologist, and I'm the executive director of the Guardians of Martin County. And the Guardians, together with a couple of other nonprofit organizations, are working on this project called the Loxa-Lucie Headwaters project. And it gets its name because the water is indeed flowing towards the Loxa-Hatchie River, flowing south, and northerly towards the South Fork of the St. Lucie River, so Loxa-Lucie. So we're here in Southeast Florida, where the greater metropolis from about Central Florida south, there's over 10 million residents. And what we're trying to do is just preserve this little natural piece of ecological corridor between Jonathan Dickinson State Park to the south and the Atlantic Ridge Preserve State Park to the north. They're only separated by a couple miles, but we're seeing how important it is to establish and protect corridors for plants and animals to be able to move back and forth between the parks. Visualize yourself driving along Bridge Road. All you can see is a thick jungle wall. There's actually a vast mosaic of pine forest and low elevation wetland areas behind that green wall. Although it's not flowing like a river, we're calling this project the Headwaters because during the rainy season, water soaks into those low wetland areas and then starts flowing northerly to the South Fork of the St. Lucie River and southerly towards Kitchen Creek and the Loxa-Hatchie River and ultimately out the inlet to the ocean. The Loxa-Lucie project is a multi-year project, and we've identified phase 1 as being a 138-acre parcel 2 miles in length along the north side of Bridge Road. There are wetlands on both sides of the road. And the idea is that even though this is within the county's secondary urban services district, we think that the property should be preserved for water retention and as a green corridor between Jonathan Dickinson State Park and the Atlantic Ridge Preserve State Park. This property is also home to a large diversity of plants and animals, which include more than 30 species of ferns, 10 species of air plants, and 6 species of orchids. So this is the meadow beauty. This is a perfect kind of habitat for it. It likes a lot of open sunlight. It's a wildflower that blooms much of the year, but the summer and early fall is the best time to see it. This is the Queen's Delight. Stellingia is its genus name, and it's in the Euphorbia family. It's a plant family that is well known for being poisonous. The pickerelweed is an interesting plant with a purple flower. When the seed pods are fully ripe, Native Americans would harvest the seeds, grind them up, and make flour out of them that was used for cooking. The pineland lily is a showy wetland plant that blooms only in September and October. It's designated by the state of Florida as a threatened species. The snowy orchid gets its name from the pure white bloom, which might look familiar to a lot of you because it's found in wetlands throughout the southeastern United States. More than 30 species of ferns are found within the Loxa-Lucie Headwaters area. One of the notable ones is the leather fern, which reaches heights of 10 to 12 feet. It gets its name from the leathery-like appearance of the fertile fronds. Another interesting fern is the royal fern, which is found throughout much of the eastern U.S. and has a specialized fertile frond. Air plants are in the bromeliad family. And one of the interesting things about many of the individual species is that they only bloom one time in their life. They'll produce hundreds of seeds that get windblown, and then the parent plant will pass on. The reason we're interested in purchasing this property is to enable it to be put into permanent conservation. The property is currently zoned for residential development. The land is covered in low wetlands that flood seasonally, and it's home to so many vulnerable species. To make it livable, you would need to bring in several feet of fill to raise the ground surface, and the water and plants and animal life would forever be displaced, which stops the natural flow of water that is so vital. Our goal is to prevent that development from happening and to restore the natural hydrologic regime so that the correct amount of water gets delivered through Kitchen Creek to Jonathan Dickinson State Park and the Loxahatchee River. Please join us in saving the Loxa-Lucie Headwaters.
Hi, I'm Jenny Banks, President of the Jupiter Island Garden Club. We chose the Loxa-Lucie Headwaters Initiative as our conservation exhibit for the Zone 8 meeting because of its importance in preserving the watersheds of Great Florida rivers and putting this 138-acre parcel in conservation. It is a critical piece to protecting the corridors between Jonathan Dickinson State Park and the Atlantic Ridge State Park. This is the key momentum project to producing the Loxa-Lucie Ecological Corridor, which will form a preserve for both native plants and wildlife that will connect a landmass of nearly 70,000 acres. Please join us in this time-sensitive, critically important project. We have lots more information on our website. Follow the links to learn more.
I hope this inspires you to join us in an extremely important cause.